exercise to help the kiddos get their legs higher in Batmas. If you have a younger or beginner level dancer, they're just gonna do this, no weights or anything like that. A more intermediate dancer, we're gonna add in ankle weights. An advanced dancer, we're gonna add in ankle weights and a resistance band to really help create that muscle memory. So, they're glued together, tight tummies, belly buttons to the floor, and then they're gonna bottom on the right leg and catch the ankle. Ready, 6, 7, 8, bottom off, catch, and hold 5, 6, 7, 8, resist. And the goal is to get that leg towards their nose. Now when they're on stage, they're not gonna bottom onto their nose, obviously, but this creates more of a range of motion in their hamstrings. So they're gonna do that 4 to 8 times on each side. Let's go ahead and do the left leg as well. 6, 7, 8, bottom off, catch, 5, 6, 7, 8, control. Exercise we're gonna do for their Batmas is they're going to Batma and catch into a picture frame leg hold from a turned out foot position. So turn out that front foot a little bit, yes. Okay, a beginning or younger dancer is gonna do it just as is. Intermediate's gonna add a block. Advanced, we're adding blocks and weights. You can also add additional blocks if you need more of a challenge. So same arm as leg is gonna go to your heel, opposite arm of leg is gonna go to your ankle. 6, 7, 8, Batma, hold it, 5, 6, 7, 8, control, 6, 7, 8, again, 5, 6, 7, 8, control, stretching that bottom leg, 6, 7, 8, make sure you do both sides. All right, so our last Batma exercise I like to call whack-a-block. The goal is to hit the block with the working leg, make sure they step into a turned out standing leg, and obviously make sure they're not cheating, that they're not hunching or lifting the hips. Everything needs to stay extremely square. 6, 7, 8, and up, control. Land turned out, up, control, bottom leg locked, up, control, up, control. Okay, let's talk about pencils with our little ones. So their hands need to be nice and close to their feet. It shouldn't be too far away from their feet. Think of nose to the knee. Also, pay attention to that. Their standing leg is facing whatever direction they're facing. So right now, Tegan's facing this side wall, so that's where her toes are gonna face. She's not gonna let those toes sickle inwards. As she slices this leg up, go ahead, up you go, Tegan. We're gonna squeeze the rotators right here, right where the bottom of the leotard sits, so that this knee is turned out and nice and straight. And then as she walks out for a walkout pencil, if it's needed, go ahead and walk out for me, Tegan. Try not to let this leg wander. And we're keeping the shoulders even and the chest up. And then she's gonna walk it back in. Once again, try not to let that leg wander around up there. And then using the lower abs to bring the knee back down. All right, so Tay is gonna do a basic leg hold, grabbing behind from her ankle. She's gonna start with a développé. She's gonna tendu side. Développé through passe with a turned out standing leg, making sure not to bend that knee. Crank the knee, grab behind, heel leads, those hips are square, and she's gonna hold this for anywhere from 4 to 8 counts. She's gonna release and draw the leg down. Stay in that tendu for me. Second way she's gonna get into it is reaching up, almost drawing like a little rainbow on her way up. And reach, 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 and pull up. Once again, holding 4 to 8 counts, keeping those hips down and that ankle bone forward, and reach, control. Make sure the bottom leg never bends when you go into that double. We're gonna talk about our wrapped leg holds. Our dancers are gonna start in a tendu side. They're gonna draw up through passe, not bending the bottom leg. Present the heel forward and up they go. They're gonna hold this for 4 to 8 counts. Let go and reach that turned out leg into a tendu side. You can always add a block like Miss Tay or weights to make it more challenging. This picture frame, we're gonna start in that same turned out tendu position. We're gonna draw up into a parallel passe this time. Still not bending that knee. Heel, same arm as leg, ankle, slicing it up. Once again, pinching those shoulders down, holding 4 to 8 counts, and release to a tendu. Once again, you can always add a block or ankle weights to make it more challenging. Talk about tilts now. Miss Tay is going to be doing assisted tilts. Miss Tegan's going to be doing regular tilts. Regardless of whether you're doing assisted or regular, after you draw up through passe, there are 3 things that have to happen at the same time. You have to turn out your standing leg by pushing your heel forward, unless it's a situation where they're stepping into it. Your knee has to crank up towards your armpit, staying turned out so you have a long sartorius, and those hips have to stack one on top of the other. If you do not turn out this standing leg, your dancer's butt will be sticking out in this position. So they're gonna start in a tendu. They're gonna draw up through passe. Once again, not bending that bottom leg. Tay's gonna grab behind and stack those hips, knee to your armpit, and stretch it 1, 2, 3, 4. And as they come down into their tendu, we're gonna re-square those hips off. Very nice. We're gonna talk about some foot strengthening exercises. They have the TheraBand on the metatarsal hanging out above their toes. Don't let your toes poke out above the TheraBand. Keeping their posture, they're just gonna go half toe, point, making sure the feet don't sickle, half toe, flex. They're gonna do this 8 times. And then they're gonna work through fast. Point, flex. They're gonna do that 8 times. Then they're gonna just push through the metatarsal, but don't point. 1. They're gonna do that 8 times. And then they're gonna point the foot and just do the toes. Toes, point. They're gonna do that 8 times. Next thing they're gonna do is they're gonna wrap those feet for their wings. So you're gonna start with pointed feet. And you're gonna wrap over the toes and cross the TheraBand. You can either cross it above or below your legs. Doesn't really matter as long as you're creating that resistance. So the point is to wing from the perineal away from the center so that we're working on not sickling those feet. So they're gonna do right foot 8 times, and it's a real small movement, keeping that posture. Left foot 8 times, and once again, you wanna make sure it's really coming from the ankles. It's gonna be a small movement. It's not gonna be big right away. And then both feet 8 times. And you can repeat this as many times as you would like. Okay, the next exercise they're gonna do for their feet is my favorite. I call it your Barbie foot exercise. They're gonna put it on top of the toes, pull and cross underneath to create a resistance, and then just stretch the leg out in front of them. And they're just flexing the toes like a little Barbie foot. They're gonna do that 16 times. After they do that, they're gonna take the block, put it underneath the knee. We're gonna put it on the middle setting. And then they're taking that band and pulling it around the block to create a lot of resistance. And then they're going to stretch the foot from there 16 times. So they're really feeling it through the top of that arch. Always make sure that your dancer isn't sickling